Welcome to Natural Habitat Adventures Daily Dose of Nature. I'm your host, Kendall Bauer. Today we're hearing from our expedition leader, Buli Mathe, who will be telling us all about one of NetHab's incredible safaris, the Southern Africa Odyssey. Buli, it is such a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm going to hand it off to you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Hello, everybody. My name is Buli. Just like Kendall introduced, I'm actually expedition leader for the African Odyssey, and I'm more than excited to share a bit of highlight and detail on how this beautiful expedition actually rolls through. Buli is a young boy or young man, I call myself, born bred the city of Bulawayo, which is called the City of Kings, the second capital of Zimbabwe, found right in the southernmost part of Africa, and currently staying in Victoria Falls with beautiful African queen. Her name is Leslie, and our three lovely kids, Ayanda, Lina, and Awande. Awande, by the way, is my COVID miracle. He was born during COVID, so we call him a COVID miracle. However, I'm more than excited to go home and more than happy for those who actually signed up to come in the trip and actually explore and learn a bit of our African. Now, the African Odyssey is quite an interesting itinerary, as it actually taps into the different areas of Southern Africa with a few water areas and a bit of land and safari. Now, the whole aspect of the trip actually entails 4 different countries. We talk of South Africa, where you land, you come through Botswana, we go through Namibia, and finally Zimbabwe, and where our trip ends in Victoria Falls. In Namibia, we actually stay at the Impalila or Kaza Lodge, at the Impalila Island, and that's at the Kaza Lodge. This is where our first stay is. The second place is actually right in the houseboat in Kariba. Kariba is a man-made lake, and the largest man-made dam wall over Mbezi River, which is the 4th longest river in Africa. Now, from the lake, we spend 3 nights and then move on to Hwange National Park, the largest national park in the country of Zimbabwe, and the 10th largest national park in Africa. We talk of diverse species and birds to explore, and that's a full office for me. We finally move our way to Victoria Falls and actually see one of the 7 wonders of the world. Now, where do I meet all you guys? I welcome you all as you land through the Kasane International Airport, and that is in Botswana. And once I meet you there, we then start off on our first camp on the island of Namibia. When we arrive in Kasane, I'll definitely show you all the way through. We jump on jeeps that drive us to the riverside on the Chobe and cross over to the island of Impalila of Namibia. Now, areas that have been left pristine and in terms of environment, they were forced to put a bit of road that have been marginalized and not been taken care of by the government of Namibia. But however, it is actually at the heart of one of our WWF's biggest projects in Southern Africa, and that is the Kaza. And hence the lodge is named Kaza Lodge. And this is where we'll spend our first 3 nights there. We'll be doing game drives in the Chobe, and hence we'll actually do immigrations out of Namibia into Botswana and Park. The diverse animal activity and bird life because of the land and water of the Chobe River makes it an amazing experience to start off and kick off our exceptional safari. Hello? So anyway, when we move on to the Chobe, you actually get to see the elephant. We call it the elephant capital of Africa. The Chobe National Park has the widest and highest population density of elephants in the whole of Africa. So you actually tap into the right of the epicenter of that experience, both in land and in water. It's one of the few areas where you can actually see elephants crossing the Chobe River, and it is always a highlight. So our first day actually spent on land where we do a game drive, and the second day is spent in water where we enjoy the wildlife from the water perspective and hopefully get an opportunity to actually see the elephants across the mighty Chobe River. On our final departing day, which is our third morning in Casa Lodge, we actually get to visit the village and visit the village people out there and get to understand and see how their basic lifestyle is out there. Throughout the whole trip, this is one of the opportunities we'll actually get to interact with our locals in their native area, in their native infrastructure, and tap into a bit of cultural interaction there where they'll do a bit of song and dance. Not to share too much, but it's something to look forward to when we actually visit an amazing experience that we share there. Traditionally, is about men. The men are always the leaders of these big communities and these big tribes of Africa. But in this particular island, the head of the island is actually a lady. More, it is quite an interesting twist in all the norms, culture have always led the system, but this particular island is actually led and pushed on by a wonderful lady, wise in wisdom, and the best actually interact and lady. Hello.
Hi, Buli. Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. Beautiful. Once we, okay, sorry. So once we leave the Imperial onto the Lake Kariba, as you can see, the top picture has got some lovely elephants moving into the middle of the lake. Get lost. How amazing is petrified when the dam was laked up. So much water came through that flooded more than what was expected of the lake to actually become. This program of moving islands where they were almost getting drowned as the water started filling up. They built the Lake Kariba in 1958. And most of these trees just stayed like that. And it looked amazing and over half a century. With that, we get to explore the Botswana National Park, which when we jump on a lovely boat, we get to express the Kariba side, where we have the lakeside, and the land is the Botswana National Park. Now, Botswana is actually an interesting name. Matus Adona means elephant poop that is falling. That is the name of the national park. A weird one. Elephant poop that is falling because of those high cliffs you see on the background. Actually, elephants go up the hill. The river in a lovely boat and dream is one of a kind. The best boat you'll actually find on the lake. With amazing detail, amazing scenery. It's got 3 decks. You've got the sun deck, the dining deck, and then swimming deck. And an amazing team that we have right on the boat. They're very experienced captain of the lake and boat attendants that will be with us right through our stay there. And as lucky as we go through the lake navigating, we get to stop and explore the national park on game drive and also jump on our tender boat and do a bit of sunset cruising or early morning sunrise cruising. And for those who are keen to do a bit of fishing, it is an option that is also available to explore and partake in. As you can see, the views are stunning. The sunsets on the lake are something you never want to miss on this beautiful Lake Kariba. Now, Lake Kariba itself, Kariba, is taken from a Tonga name, which means Kariba. Kariba means a trap. mousetrap that young boys do to catch some mice when they're heading out cattle and they need something to eat there. Hence, when they built this lovely lake, there was a rock that looked like a trap, and hence the name of the demo was named Kariba, and the lake therefore named Kariba. It is the longest and widest lake you'll find in the southernmost part of Africa, stretching up to 300 kilometers long and over 40 kilometers wide, separating the two lovely countries of Zambia and Zimbabwe. So as we navigate through our lovely boat, actually explore and see where some of these fishermen from Zambia come in and explore and do their stuff. Also in this beautiful area, we get to learn documentaries, to rescue the animals as it was laking up. Also, when we get an opportunity on our last day of the 3 nights on the boat, we actually get an opportunity to come through and watch and actually see the dam from the viewpoint. We get to do a bit of a town tour, then about the lovely Lake Kariba. Now, the dam was actually built for a hydro power station, which actually these two countries got their independence. Zambia in 1964 and Zimbabwe in 1980. They all became sovereign states with their own boundaries or political, if I say, but they still run the corporation concurrently and share the power between the two countries. An amazing experience we'll get there, as we might get a chance to see some local fishermen who subsistently survive on this beautiful lake produce. Was actually dammed, or the river Zambezi was dammed to the lake. A lot of beautiful fish were actually introduced. The sardines from Lake Tanganyika in Malawi, and hence those sardines known as carpenters or Tanganyika sardines. These sardines are actually what the local people commercially fish to actually take care of our stay here. It is an amazing experience to explore an opportunity through the lake, because it takes us all the way through to the place Wange. Once we're done with the Kariba, we actually fly for about an hour, 20 minutes on our love, which is the largest in Zimbabwe. We stay in a beautiful camp called the Davison's Camp. Davison's is actually the name of the first game warden of the national park, and that was in 1918. He was the first known game warden who actually prescribed the area as a national reserve before it was officially described as a national park in 1930. This is where we get to do the full-on traditional safari experience, where we get to do some walking safaris and game drives, get to delve deeper into the animal behavioral dynamics and interaction. In our lovely jeeps and our amazing guides, very experienced guides of Zimbabwe, we get to explore the and widest diversity of game Zimbabwe in this lovely camp. The success of the park is actually dived on a game water system. The national park in its own, 14,600 square kilometers, which is almost 7,000 miles. 7,000 square miles actually in the center of the park. It has no permanent rivers, so it is a dry and arid area. And the success of this beautiful park that you get within the park. First game warden decided to do, as he realized that animals would migrate away from the lovely park, going all the way close to the Zambezi River and the Chobe River in Botswana, which are about 200 to 300 kilometers away. Now, how do you keep the animals staying? They had to sink these beautiful boreholes and actually get to have the animals stay right through the year. That is the success story of the Hwange National Park. Now, because of game water supply being available, the animal experience is one of a kind. The second capital of elephant experience, lions, buffaloes, the numbers you'll find in this beautiful national park with over 450 different bird species. Now, subject to the time of the year you come, we have some amazing migratory birds like the cuckoos and European rollers and a couple of bee eaters, the common bee eaters that migrate all the way from Northern Africa and some intercontinental all the way from Europe. From around August through to March is where you get to experience all that beautiful bird life. But from April to around August is our winter months. And these are the months that you actually get to enjoy a bit of cat activity. This is the mating season. Okay, next slide. So, the Davison's camp is an amazing camp, tented camp that has been running for a while. I've had the opportunity myself to work in that beautiful camp for more than 5 years. So I know the area like the back of my hand. So getting to explore that area with all these NATAB expedition and travelers, it's quite an interesting insight to show them a bit of my office area. So, should you guys come through here, this is where I get to show off what I've been doing for the past 15 years as a walking guide, as a safari guide in this lovely area of the Hwange National Park. It is an amazing area as a diverse population of wildlife keeps you entertained. I mean, you'll have lions, hyenas, elephants walking through the camp any time of the day. So it is full on experience that not only get to see action as we do game drives, but we do get to experience it actually coming all the way through to camp. Sometimes, I've had situations where we've out to go look for the beautiful species out there and we say, okay, our mission today is to find the painted dogs, or some call it the painted. All these lovely animals you're looking for here are actually right in camp. So it is one of the preferred areas by game and wildlife to actually come through and explore the area. So an amazing time. We will actually get to express joy in that lovely area. It is a beautiful place to actually play around with and explore, as most species actually come right through. The bird life is the one that is most amazing as it comes through the area. And once we move out of this lovely place of Hwange National Park, we get to fly on again for about 45 minutes to the Victoria Falls town, one of the seven wonders of the world, and a definite must see, one of a kind experiences, locally known as Mosi Uyatunya, which means the smoke that thunders. Victoria Falls is a beautiful place. We actually get to stay in the oldest hotel in town, the most luxurious place you'll ever be, called the Victoria Falls Hotel. This beautiful hotel actually overlooks the bridge that connects the two countries of Zambia and Zimbabwe, and it actually overlooks the spray of the falls in that beautiful area. When we arrive in this beautiful town of Victoria Falls, we get to have lunch in one of the cafes, which is right on the banks and the cliffs of the Zambezi Gorge, right downstream the Victoria Falls. And soon after that, we get to visit and explore the Victoria Falls itself. An amazing, spectacular walk that we do around the beautiful area. Soon after that, we head back to our hotel where we will be enjoyed by some entertainment around dinner time as we go to a famous restaurant in the hotel called the Jungle Buffet, where they've got some cultural music and dance that entertains us right through our stay in this beautiful hotel. It is amazing exercise of that beautiful town, and it is actually my hometown too. This is where I currently stay with my beautiful family in the lovely town of Victoria Falls. Now, I always want to express, and often questions I get when travelers come through here is, or when a lot of us are actually in preparation of coming through here, is on what do we need to bring and prepare for this amazing expedition. Now, for clothing, it is winter time for those who are going to come in on our first trip that is coming in the next week or so. Winter gear, I always say buffs and beanie gear, where you need your down jackets, your buffs and beanies, as temperatures get to drop to as low as freezing, which is 0 Celsius and about 32 Fahrenheit. That is what you need for this time. So for anyone who actually gets to book a trip or signs up for this trip, for the month of June, July, in July, particularly, you need your winter gear. You need your buffs and beanies. This will help you go through the winter. As we go through these open jeeps doing game drives, the gear will come in very, very, very handy. However, when you come through summer, around August, around September through to November, October being sometimes called the suicide month, temperatures are very, very high. So we get the extreme cold and the highs in summer. When I say high, we're talking of temperatures that will go above 45 Celsius, which is an average 115, 112 Fahrenheit. However, this is dry heat. So if you're in a nice shady spot like your tent or the main area or in an open jeep with some breeze blowing, it is actually very comfortable. So from September to November, anyone signing up around that time, you actually need more of your summer. And from May through July, you need your winter gear so you can actually successfully enjoy the trip. And a lot of questions I get are regarding the charging system. Electrics, I know a lot of us have good camera gear and phones and laptops. And there are some also pump machines that you might bring with. All our camps and all our properties actually have a universal charging system, which will take in plug points from 110 volts to a max of 220, 240 volts. They are universal plugs which can fit both European and American charging systems. So do bring all your gadgets and equipment and not worry much on how you charge them all the way through from the first Casa Lodge to the houseboat to David's and the Vic Falls Hotel will have good electricity, and we're able to charge all our equipment in our respective rooms. So you will all be safe and be comfortable with electricity. However, it is Africa. You might get a power cut here and there, but all our properties have backup generators that quickly kick in when that happens. But in terms of charging ports and charging systems, all our charging ports are and can take in any charging device you want to bring in here. In terms of clothing and gear, like I highlighted, May, June, July, buffs and beanies and your down jackets will do you good. And September through November, summer. Bring on your lovely summer shirts, but also be in mind, we are interacting with wildlife. We prefer neutral colors. When I say neutral colors, these are dull colors, the green, the blues, the grays, and all the dull colors, not bright orange or bright, lime colors that stand out. They might be intimidating and rather confuse the wrong message towards our wildlife. But in terms of gear, bring in the neutral colors. And if you visit our native gear shop, you actually get to see all those beautiful gears that are best for setting up an African Odyssey trip. A lot of questions come through regarding the cash flow. Zimbabwe itself has gone through a challenging economic situation where we've abandoned our local Zimbabwean dollar and we've adopted the United States dollar as a trading currency. With that in mind, you find US dollars are accepted right through the trip. In every property that will go through, you don't need to buy local currency in Namibia. You don't need to buy local currency in Botswana. You don't need to have local currency in Zimbabwe. in terms of Zimbabwean dollar, the US dollar is acceptable. And where you don't have cash, credit cards also do work. In all our properties, you will be able to use your credit card machines to purchase or get anything of interest you might like. So don't worry about getting cash or getting the local currency cash, but your US dollars. Cash is king in Africa. US dollars will definitely uh, get you whatever you need, and the credit cards also do work. Victoria Falls is the town will get to explore and have time to do a bit of shopping. So should you want to do some shopping, that place actually do that. Most items that you might need, you can. And credit card also work. If you run out of more cash, got ATMs right here down because Zimbabwe has adopted the US dollar. All our ATMs actually spit out the US dollars. So you can actually use your credit card, go to the ATM and get more cash, and it will be US dollars. In terms of charges, it's actually when you use your card because all our banking systems now are linked up to the United States banking system. So it makes it much easy and much some antelope, which are actually my favorite, the national animal of Zimbabwe, and definitely lions, leopards, cheetahs, crocodiles on the river, and hippos, hippopotamuses. Amazing, the amazing sunsets and the landscape. These are a few experiences that we're looking forward to experiencing in this lovely expedition. And I'm hoping you guys come geared up with your cameras charged and all your memory cards big enough to capture all the pictures. I mean, in one safari, we actually took over 5,000 pictures. That's how much your cameras will be clicking. So come geared up and ready to take these amazing pictures and actually see the beautiful area of the Chobe in Botswana and the Hwange National Park and our beautiful Lake Kariba in the Matusadona National Park. And finally, the Victoria Falls. This is where you get to experience one of the 7 wonders of the world. It is an amazing uh, trip, only 11 days, and you will be mesmerized. A very interesting introductory approach into an African experience where we'll tap into both culture, we'll tap into the different landscape, river and land, and then come into the deep arid areas of the boundaries of the Kalahari Desert in the Hwange National Park, and then move on to one of the wonders of the world, which is the Victoria Falls falls. And that is one of a kind of experience that you most people look forward to actually get to see. Currently, we are on high season, and that means we've got more water coming in, more water flowing, such that in the hotel that we're staying in, you'll actually hear the thunder of the Victoria Falls as it flows down. It is an amazing experience. Also, when we get to do the Victoria Falls walk, there will be areas that will really get soaked and wet. Amazing sprays that come from the thunderous roar of the mighty Zambezi as it trickles down the gorge that forms the 7 wonders of the world. An amazing experience, an amazing experience, an amazing experience. I look forward to exploring and leading a few amazing trips, one of a kind, and I'm more part of this experience. Often question, do you really get and like, no, this is my office and I've done it for 15 years and I've never gotten tired. I've never gotten tired. It is an amazing experience to actually explore and be part of that one.
Okay, Buli, are you ready for questions?
Oh, yes, we can throw them through.
Okay, great. You answered a lot of them while you were presenting. And I just wanted to remind everyone that if you have a question about this trip for Buli, we can answer those today. If we don't get to your question, or if you'd prefer to speak to someone in the office, please feel free to call or send an email to your adventure specialist. All right. We only have, I think, a couple questions here remaining since you answered so many that came in. So someone's wondering about
Okay.
if they can stay an extra day in Vic Falls on their own, if it's easy to visit the Rhino Park.
Oh yes. Oh yes. That's all possible. I mean, the concierge does the extra booking for you. So it is possible to actually extend a night or two and actually explore Zambia. It is a beautiful area as we put a boundary with it in Zimbabwe, and the Rhino Park is actually not far from Victoria Falls. You can actually do a day's excursion into Zambia, visit that park, and come back and stay again in Victoria Falls. So you don't need to actually book across in Zambia. You can actually go for the day and actually come back. I've had people also explore what we call the Devil's Pool. Now, there's lots of activities that you can explore through the Zambian side and actually come back and stay in the Victoria Falls side. So it's all possible. It's all very possible.
Yep, I can attest to that. I've done that myself. It was a really fantastic visit, and definitely get in touch with the folks at the office. They can help set you up with that if you're
Yes.
interested in that. So someone has just asked about insect repellent. Is it necessary? Should they bring any? What do you think about that?
So traditionally, I always encourage people react to different we might provide here. If you've got your own that might be prescribed by maybe a physician because maybe somebody who has allergies, you can have your own insect repellent that you bring. But however, we do provide insect repellent all the way through. I actually have a couple of insect repellent on the body and skin or the open skin, which other irritating. Winter time is not much stress from insects. And when I say winter, I say May, June, July. We don't worry much about insect, but obviously having an insect repellent because we spend a lot of time in water bodies. So there are definitely some mosquitoes that might be irritating. So you can bring your repellent for that. And those doing trips, so that might sign up for September through November. These are the hot months. And usually when it's hot, around October, November, the rains might start kicking in. So you will definitely like mosquitoes. So the repellent actually goes a long way in reducing. We'll have repellent. Also, if you can all 3 days, comfortable. So you'd rather have it and not have it out here. So it's subject to how you react to insect bites. But I love them because they actually get your blood circulating.
Mhm. Great. So you were breaking up a little bit. So just to reiterate, you do provide insect repellent throughout the trip,
Yes.
but if someone chooses so, they can bring their own.
Yes, that's
Okay.
possible.
Great.
Yeah.
Um, Another question that just came in. It's the last one we have here. So if anyone does have any further questions, please feel free. We've got some time left, so submit those. So final question we have so far is, how are border crossings handled?
Border crossings. Okay, so when we land in Botswana, Botswana does not require a visa. So you just stamp your passport in, we drive across to another immigration point, and we stamp out of Botswana and drive on a boat for about 10 minutes and stamp into Namibia. These are all very flexible borders, though they are time specific in terms of hours and then usually at that time we were back on the island and we spend time and we actually go on the Chobe drive that will stamp out of Namibia into Botswana again. But the second day where we spend time on the river, we don't do immigrations. When we fly to Kariba, upon entering Kariba, this is where we'll purchase our visa into Zimbabwe. I think with an American passports is about $30 per person, and it's usually very, very, very quick and flexible. The immigration guys will be waiting for us because try and push and get them to be there earlier. They're always waiting for us when we land, and within 20 or so minutes, the whole group would have gone through with their visas and into Zimbabwe. And that's the last time you'll need immigrations or border crossings throughout the trip. So the final 5 days of the trip are actually less hectic in terms of, it's actually the final 6 days of the trip. You won't even need immigration or any border crossing. So you will be fine. It's actually quite swift and efficient. And I'll be with you all the way through. So it never is a challenge. It's never given us a challenge ever.
Yep, yep. Again, I can attest it's a very smooth process, and the folks in the office here can help you make sure that everything is set up properly before you leave. And again, your expedition leader, like Buli, is there to help you through the whole process. So it's very smooth and quite quick. I can attest to that. We've got some more questions that just came in.
All right.
There's one about laundry. How often are people able to do laundry? Can you talk about that?
Good question. That one. Um, Laundry systems are done in all our property. However, on the boat, because most of the laundry is sun dried, and being on the boat, there's not much space around the boat to sun dry. However, there is limited laundry, but they still do laundry on the boat, in Kaza, in Wange, and all the way to Vic Falls Hotel. So all our laundries are definitely, you can put every morning, you can drop your laundry, and it comes back same day. In the evening, you have your laundry come through. So laundry services are complimentary right through, I think, but at the Vic Falls Hotel, maybe if you need to, they might charge you for it. But in all our other camps, right through the trip, it's all complimentary and it is done same day delivery.
Okay, great. It looks like
Yeah.
there are a couple questions here that might be better for concierge to answer, including things
Okay.
about um, uh, it looks like some extensions on trips and some gratuities. So I'm going to pass those on to our concierge department. I just want everyone who asked those questions to know I'm not ignoring you. I will pass those on to concierge and someone will get back to you. One question that just came in
Lovely.
that you can definitely answer is what kind of
Yes.
shoes do we need in camp?
Lovely. I love that one. It's a very good question because we're going to different terrain. So sometimes shoes would apply in terms of what makes the whole trip and make you comfortable throughout the trip. I always recommend hard-soled shoes. So hard-soled shoes could be sometimes your sandals, but as long as they're hard-soled and you're comfortable in those, you can actually have them. But if we're going to decide to partake in a walking expedition, I need hiking boots, that go up to the ankle and be able to comfortably exercise in the terrain that we'll be walking in. So covering hiking boots or sneakers are actually good, but also of a neutral color that blend in with nature. Sandals are very, very comfortable as we're in the boat. Sometimes you want to relax a little bit and let loose in all the tight gear. So sandals are very much welcome. And also when we do the tour of the falls, like I said, sometimes it gets really, really wet. Like now, between April to August is the high season. So we will get sections that really get wet. And because of that, need sandals or waterproof shoes. So waterproof shoes are actually the best to enjoy the tour of the falls, or sandals that you don't mind getting wet and they can quickly dry up. So for shoes, those actually are high, shoes, hiking boots.
Sorry, Buli, you
Does
cut
that
out
answer
there
it?
at the end. Yeah, yeah. I can say that when I visited Vic
Okay.
Falls, I wore like a Chaco or a Tiva type sandal, and that worked out really well. But yeah, for
Yes.
for the actual game drives, you may want something a little bit more substantial, like a sneaker or a hiking boot. Yep. It
Yes.
looks like
And also no
that
flip
that's
flops
about
for
it
the
for
falls.
questions. Oh, go ahead, Buli. Sorry.
Oh, amazing. No, I was just saying flip flops are not recommended for the Tour de Force because sometimes it gets slippery. So those
Yes.
should become the best to actually have the hard sole sandals. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. Something that is more substantial that will securely hold your foot in place for sure. Absolutely. All right.
Yes.
Well, that
Yes.
does it for questions today. Thank you so much, Buli, for presenting for us. I do apologize to everyone for, the audio cutting in and out. But if you have any further questions, please do contact our office. You can speak to an adventure specialist, or if you're already booked, you can speak to someone in our concierge department. Buli, I'm going to hand it back over to you for any closing comments you'd like.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. And for those who've signed up already, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody in my lovely office. For those who are yet to sign up, do sign up. This is an amazing introductory to an African experience as we tap into all the facets of what makes a complete African safari, from the cultural perspective, the wildlife perspective, to actually visiting one of the seven wonders of the world, which is Victoria Falls, and most definitely getting to meet Bully in his office. Amazing, amazing. Thank you all so much for signing up, and thank you all for the experience we've shared. If you have further questions, like you said, please throw them in. I'm more than happy to answer them even later. But also, our team right there at Boulder is amazing at actually facilitating for any questions that you guys might have.
Thank you so much, Buli. And yeah, this safari really is special. It's unique. As you say, it's a great introduction to safaris, but also if you've been on safaris before, it's a really unique way to see Southern Africa. So thanks again, Buli, for presenting for us today. And thank you to everyone who tuned in. Please join us tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Nature. You can check out tomorrow's webinar if you're not registered yet, and directly register right from our website at nethab.com/webinars. And we will have next week's lineup posted tomorrow afternoon. We did record today's presentation, and we'll have the replay available on our website soon. And with that, I'll conclude the webinar. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks again.